Oh,
I'm not hearing Jason Carroll. Is he on
Anderson,
air?
I hear you. Anderson, I hear you. Anderson, I hear you. Just had a few tense moments.
Jason Carroll, can you hear me?
We
got you, Jason. Go ahead
yes,
now.
Anderson, I hear you. We just walked down the street here. The crowd got violent. First they found a police car here. They destroyed one car, then moved over to another car, and started to try to destroy that car as well. Police came through in riot gear. They moved us through the area and moved up the street a little bit more. So things started to get out of control, at least just right here in this specific area where we've been standing. They've been throwing rocks, bottles at the police as we were standing here as well. At this point, you can see the crowd is still a little bit unruly. One car trying to get out of here. This car, some windows broken out. I saw one of the demonstrators putting lighter fluid on one of the police cars that was here as well before riot gear. Officers in riot gear finally came out and said, "We're moving the crowd, get out of the way." At one point when we were on the street here, it sounded like we heard something like gunfire. That could have been people just shooting up in the air, but obviously some tense moments. But I do want to also say that there were a number of demonstrators here in the crowd who have been trying to police themselves, trying to get the agitators to stop throwing bottles, trying to get those people to stop doing that. So there have been some demonstrators out here, Anderson, who have actually tried to stop the agitators from doing what we saw here just a few minutes ago.
And I want to go to Don Lemon. Don, explain where you are and what you're seeing.
We're standing right across the street from the Ferguson Police Department, Anderson, and just a couple of seconds ago we heard one gunshot. We heard about 4 or 5 earlier as the prosecutor was making the announcement. But just the one that happened just a couple of seconds ago, people started running this way, and there were a couple of police officers in the crowd, and they're still sort of moving around here. But again, we have heard gunshots this evening, a couple during the prosecutor's announcement, Bob McCullough's announcement, and then just about maybe a minute, 2 minutes ago, just before you went to Jason Carroll, we heard a gunshot and then people started scattering, and now they're moving back, and we're watching people, they're on top of the roofs of cars, the tops of cars, and obviously there's a smell of marijuana in the air as well. But again, gunshots, police are on the scene. From our vantage point, that's what we're seeing, Anderson.
Okay, I want to go back to Jason Carroll. Also, Jason, if you can still hear me, what is your location? Where in Ferguson are you?
Well, I'm the same street that you've got the Ferguson Police Department on. I'm just further down from where Don was, simply because the crowd broke off after the announcement was made. Shortly after the announcement was made, started heading down the street. You can see right over here, we're just going to remain from a safe distance from where this police car here is here that they've abandoned, that they started throwing rocks at, started punching out the windows, again putting lighter fluid on the police car that you see here. After the announcement was made, Anderson, here's what happened. Michael Brown's mother was here in the crowd. She became overcome with grief. They escorted her out very, very quickly. Shortly thereafter, some of those who were in the crowd, some started throwing bottles, rocks at the police in front of the Ferguson Police Department. They tried to rush at one point. That's when the officers came out in riot gear. Shortly thereafter, you had some of those who were in the crowd whose job it is to police those who are out here, to police the demonstrators. Demonstrators essentially policing themselves.